The Rangers, well, they had an offensive explosion in the third period against the Canucks on Sam Rosen Day. That was Saturday at the Garden as he knocked off the Canucks 5-3. Mollie Walker, the great Blue Shirts beat reporter for the New York Post, she was in the building. She's still in the building. She was there for the win. She joins us now. Mollie, how are you doing? How's it going?
We're hanging out. How are you?
Good. Hanging out, hanging in there. Busy times around these New York sports. Busy times for you with the Rangers and Mollie. The Rangers and the Canucks, they were knotted at one heading into the third period. Then what happened is what you called, I saw you say this on Twitter, a goal-scoring palooza. That's exactly what it was. The Blue Shirts scored 4 goals, including a late empty netter in that third period. What went right offensively for the Rangers in the third?
Well, they finally started shooting the puck, which has kind of been an issue for the Rangers lately. They were still limited to only 12 shots on goal. So I think JT Miller said it best. It was a bit of a mixed bag for the Rangers altogether. But what we saw from the Rangers in the third period is they were finally getting to the puck to the middle of the ice, getting it through traffic. There were a couple goals right in front from the slot. They had one go off of Quinn Hughes' skate right in front from Keandre Miller. So it was just about creating some chaos, some movement, just anything in the offensive zone, because really through the first 20 minutes, there wasn't much of that. And that's kind of what we've seen from the Rangers lately. So it was nice to see them really turn it on in the third period, even though they were giving up almost just as much as they were scoring. They still ended up coming out on top.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the best defensive third period, but you can't score goals if you don't create chances. Now, I'm going to talk about the defense because we know that the offense, they're going to get a lot of attention with what happened in the third period, but there was 36 saves for Igor Shesterkin today. What did you make of the performance from the Rangers netminder early on in this game, as well as the team's defensive effort throughout the game, especially late when it counted?
Yeah, I think with Igor, everybody's talking about that roughing penalty that he took earlier in the game. He just kind of, I think frustrations were really bubbling over for the entire Rangers team, but Igor, more than anybody, looked really frustrated. So he threw his arms around somebody, got called for roughing, but it really ignited the whole Garden, and everybody was screaming his name, and it pumped some juice into the Rangers a little bit, I think. So he's obviously been so solid for them for much of his career. So it's really nothing new there. But once again, just he's been forced to come up with so many big saves for them. As we were talking about earlier, the defensive effort, they still have so much that they need to tighten up on. But I think that in the end, they were just able to outscore the Canucks in the third period. And at this point in the season, with where the Rangers are at, they're not asking how the wins are coming. They're just taking the 2 points and running.
No, that's a good point, Mal. You'll take the wins however you can get it. The object is to score more goals than the other team. They did that, and they got the 2 points. Now, 11 games to go, right, in the regular season for the Blue Shirts. And at the time of recording this video, they're tied on points with the Canadiens, and they're still trying to get that final wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Canadiens have 74 points, so do the Rangers. However, the Canadiens and a few other teams in the race for the wildcard spot, they have a couple games in hand on the Rangers. So how big of a win was this today, Mollie, for this Ranger squad as they head out to California this week? They've got 3 games out there. And with that being said, what are you going to keep your eye on in terms of their play on the road this week?
Well, every game has been big for the Rangers for the last month and a half. It's every single point counts at this point. The way that the Eastern Conference is shaking out, every team it feels like is separated by a point or two. So it's a real neck and neck race there in the Eastern Conference. So it really doesn't matter where the points are coming against who. The Rangers need as many as they can get. So as they go out to California, it's an easier schedule. Only the Kings are in a playoff position right now. So they really got to take advantage of that because they can't be leaving points on the table right now.
Can't do that. Got to take advantage. Can't play with their food out there on the West Coast. We'll see how the Rangers do there. Last thing for me here, Mollie, because Sam Rosen, he was honored today for his 40 years of service as the play-by-play voice of the Rangers. Now, we know Sam, he's going to retire after the season. You see Sam all the time. You had the chance to sit down with him earlier this year. And we talked about the 11 games left for the Rangers in the regular season. So I got to ask this about Sam. Is retirement starting to set in for Mr. Rosen right now?
I think it is. I think today in particular was a real special moment for him that really brought it all into focus. I thought the Rangers did such a wonderful job with the pregame ceremony. They gave him a jersey with a 40 on the back for his 40 years as the full-time Rangers broadcaster. And they also gave him a golden mic that Phil Esposito and John Davidson came out and presented to him. So his wife Jill was with him, and it was just a really beautiful ceremony. And you just love to see good things happen to good people. And Sam Rosen is truly one of the good ones. So it was an absolute honor to share a press box with him and to just see him up close in his element after my mom always says that I've been listening to Sam Rosen since I've been in her belly. So very, very special for me. And it was an awesome day for Sam Rosen and for all of us to celebrate him.
No, it was. And, I think it's always a pleasure when we in the media get to see fellow folks in the media get their flowers. And so I'm glad Sam Rosen got his flowers today. And hopefully his season goes a little bit longer with the Rangers. We'll see what the Rangers do over these final 11 games of the regular season. Mollie Walker will have you covered on that for the New York Post. Mollie, always a pleasure seeing you, and we'll talk some more Rangers hockey soon.
Thanks so much, Dexter.